Alright, so let's get rid of some of this junk using Photoshop. Let's get rid of the toilet paper. We don't need that. We'll get rid of this plug. We definitely don't need that. And a little bit of the plug that I missed there. I don't even know what that is. But we'll get rid of that. And then the bottle. Yeah, we don't need the bottle. And then this chair over here, the remnants of a chair, get rid of that with Generative AI fill. Yeah, got rid of that, and then a little bit of cleanup on the edge here, and whatever this blue whatever, I don't even know what that is. We'll get rid of it though, and there's your before, and there's your after, all cleaned up. Showed you was a reel that I posted on social media, a little speed reel of me cleaning up the distractions in a shot. I would rather the distractions, find a spot where we don't have a lot of distractions, but if you do, then let me show you how to remove some of these. And what do I mean by distractions? So let's take a look at this shot right here. I've got the compositional element I'm using here is framing, right? And color as well. I'm looking at the color of her top and the skirt here. And we actually hadn't even planned on shooting here, but if you come back, there's actually a shot here. I really like the way that the color of the door and the room kind of played off her bikini top and her skin as well. And just these colors kind of in the back here. Just really was kind of working with the brown tones here in the mirror. Really liked it. So things that you got to watch out for, however, shooting in a restroom is, and you real estate guys know this, if you've ever done any real estate photography, you got to go in, say you're shooting a bathroom, right? You got to go in and remove all these little, like the soap bottle here and any other distractions they have in there you want to take out, and then you get the shot of the bathroom, right? Well, these things are attached to the wall. I can't remove them. So, for example, the toilet paper, right? We don't really want that in there. This bottle is kind of distracting to me as well. Maybe even some of this blue, whatever it is, I don't even know what it is. We can move around. This plug right here, to me, that's kind of distracting. Anything in the image that takes your eye away from the model, potentially where your eye might get distracted, like down here in the bottom corner. Down here we've got a little bit of the chair poking in, and in my defense, I did move the chair back as far as I could. It was a small room. I'll show you a little video where we were kind of shooting in that room and setting up and getting some shots right here. So like I said, it wasn't planned. It was just, impromptu, get a shot right here just because I like the color tones. So color, one compositional element, complementary colors and how they look with the model and the model's outfit, right? The other compositional element is framing. I've got her framed up inside this rectangle here, right? That is the entryway of the bathroom. So think about those compositional elements for you newer shooters when you're shooting photographs. Particularly look for those elements. Another one is leading lines, right? Symmetry is another one. So if you can get all of those, like leading lines, framing, symmetry, and color tones, you're just a rock star, right? We don't always get that opportunity to shoot that, but when we see it, it's like, oh my God, I can see all of it. It's like the Matrix. You see it and it comes clear all of a sudden. But for you bokeh shooters, and you're newer and you haven't really explored some of these other complementary elements, you shoot at 1.8 and you're like bokeh the shot and everything. That's what I did. That's what a lot of us did. As soon as you get in a small room like this and you can't blur the background and create a bokeh shot, you're thinking to yourself, you got to learn real quick, what are those compositional elements? How am I going to create a great shot without blurring the background or bokeh? Think about those other compositional elements, and that's going to help you, right? I did it. I got in a small room. First time I got in a small room, it hit me. I'm like, oh crap, I can't bokeh the shot. What am I going to do here? I have to create a good composition, right? So let's get on with it. Really, what this video is about is removing distractions in your shot. What do I mean by that? Again, anything that draws your eye away from the model that you can potentially remove from the shot, you want to do that. So first one is toilet paper here. So let's start with that. I'm going to bring this into Photoshop. I'm in Lightroom right now. It's just a lot easier in Photoshop. And if you're not a Photoshop person, these tools are very easy to use, so you can just follow along. If I go a little bit too fast for you, usually I go at a decent pace, but I mean, pause and go back, rewind, so to speak, and watch what I'm doing. Pay particular attention to when I'm creating a new layer and what I'm doing there. So for example, let's go into Photoshop. And to do that, actually, you say you have an image in Lightroom like this one. See, this is where we started, and I didn't even show you. This is really what we want when we end off right here, okay? So we started with this shot right here. We got the chair, whatever this is in the bottom left-hand corner down here, right? We got this toilet paper I'd remove, this bottle I'd remove, this plug I'd remove all the way up to there, I'd remove all of that, and maybe even whatever this blue stuff is there, I'd probably take that out as well. And what I would do then, see, this is where, so I'll give you this is the before, and this is the after. A lot cleaner, right? I could even remove this, whatever this was. I think it was a candle or something, but I like the color of it, right? It plays off well with everything else, so I left it, okay? So to open this in Photoshop, let's go back to your raw image, right? And right click on it down here and just choose Edit In and choose Edit in Adobe Photoshop, okay? And that will bring your image up in Photoshop, and it looks just like this. So first thing I want to do is I have my background. That's the photo, right? I can hit Control J on my keyboard. That creates a copy of the background, and we can double click on the name there, layer 1, double click on it. You can rename it, and we'll call it BG copy, right? You don't have to rename it if you can remember what layer 1 was, but just good etiquette. Work on a new layer like that. That way, if you screw it all up, you can just right click on this layer and choose delete layer and start over, and you're back at your original background, right? If you ever want to turn the layer off, you hit the little eyeball in it, and the layer will, whatever you did in there, it'll disappear, okay? That's for you noobs and beginners that are maybe reluctant to use Photoshop. So let's start off. I mean, toilet paper. We don't want to see toilet paper in the shot, right? I want my eye to look at this picture, and I want it to go straight to her, right? I want it to go straight to her eyes, her hair, her body. I don't want it to stray off and go, what's this down here in the bottom corner? What is that? And I just clicked. I'm getting ahead of myself. And what is okay, I know there's toilet paper. It's kind of messy, right? What is this down in the bottom corner down there on the left side? What is that? Let's get rid of it. So first thing I'll do is you have your tools up here on the left side, and you should see a tool called the Remove tool. If you don't see it, it's like one of these Band-Aid looking tools. I think that's a Band-Aid icon. I'm not sure. Long press it, and you may have Healing Brush tool by default. If you long press on that, you want to make sure that you have Remove tool selected. Now use your right and left bracket keys to resize the tool. That's the brackets next to the P key, right? And I want to resize it. And really what this Remove tool is, it's like an AI tool. And it doesn't just remove, but it sort of replaces what it thinks is appropriate for that spot. So I'm going to make this a little larger than what it needs to be. And what I'm hoping is that it recognizes, hey, this is tile all around here, and he's trying to remove the toilet paper, and let's fill in the lines of the tile. So I'm just going to tap right there, and it's going to say removing area at the top, and let's just see what it gives me. When I did this earlier, it was perfect. Sometimes you have to do 2 or 3 tries. So that's really good. There's like some area here where it's a little darker. If that bothers you, that was actually there was a shadow kind of being cast by that toilet paper, but you could come in and maybe do another swipe and just see. I mean, it was subtle, but that still looks a little weird. You can hit Control Z and it'll put it back, but essentially it's removed. Okay, so let's come up here to this piece, right? And if I want to move the canvas around, I'm just using my scroll bar on my mouse to zoom in and out. If you go into your Photoshop preferences, you can set that, or you can hit Control plus. That will zoom in and zoom out if it's not set up on your mouse. Okay, so and then you can hold down the space bar and you get the little hand, and then you click and drag, and that will move the canvas around for you. Okay, just some little navigation tricks that help. Okay, so I still have my Remove tool selected, and let's just take this thing out. See, there's a little shadow right there. The toilet paper kind of had the same thing. So I'm going to try to get all of that, and we'll just do a piece at a time here, and let's just see what we get here. Okay, see where the shadow was? It's sort of the AI of it kind of wanted to fill that in, but we'll come back and get that. So I'm going to use my left bracket tool, make this a little smaller, and come over here and kind of go right up to the hand. And that's pretty good. I mean, if you were pixel peeping, you could see maybe it's a little lighter there or whatever. It doesn't really bother me. And now there's still kind of like, if you zoom out, Control 0 will reset the canvas, right? You can kind of see there's a shadow here and there's kind of a line. It's very faint, but you notice it more when you zoom out, right? So let's come in here and just kind of get this little area. Okay, got that. There's a little kind of shadow thing right there. Got that. Come up here. There's a little spot here. Let's clear that out. And I mean, look up here. This is where the paint is not perfect. So, I mean, there's imperfections in the wall. So, I mean, don't worry about it too much. There's still a little spot there. Maybe it's kind of bothering me. Okay, very good. And then I'm going to get that right there. Hopefully it doesn't try to make it into a picture frame. Okay, good. So Control 0. Recenters again. So look at that. We've got the toilet paper's gone. The electrical plug is gone. The other thing, and this was giving me fits earlier, was this bottle because it's trying to fill in the squares of the tile, and we'll just see what we can do. So I'm going to do that right there. Let's see what it does. Still using the remove tool. Just one tool. So it's a little weird, but like if you didn't know, be like, oh, the tile's dirty there. You know, you could come in there maybe and clean that up a little bit. Sometimes you just keep going and it just gets worse. What you're trying to do, right? So maybe I want to make that a little lighter, maybe, and maybe just do that. Maybe just remove that line a little bit or make it a little more faint. It's sort of, this remove tool doesn't just remove, it sort of fills in. It's an AI fill tool sometimes, right? So Control 0, zoom out, see what it looks like. I mean, we know that we made an edit there and removed a bottle, but if you just came in and looked at the shot the first time, you know, maybe it wouldn't be so obvious. And I still like this. It's a little dark right there. It bothers me because I know that I made an edit there, but if you didn't know that I made an edit there, I'll try to make another one. Just try and, I mean, would you really be like, oh, he removed toilet paper from that spot? So I did that, and it's sort of, now it's real clean. I did another one, so another remove over that area. So now that those little dark spots are kind of gone, right? So let's come down to the corner. Remember, hold down space bar and click and drag, and let's grab these. I don't even remember what this was, like maybe pieces of a chair. I don't know. Okay, and you can kind of do that right there, kind of clean it up a little bit more. I really don't care about these little spots. That's just, it's an old, you know, it's an old room, right? It's vintage. So the other glaring thing is the chair poking in over here. Let's try a different tool. If you want to see the before, turn off the eyeball for this layer that we're working on, just like that. Okay, see? There's the before and there's the after. So we're making progress, right? So let's try a different tool. Let's go to our lasso tool, which is this one right up here. If you don't see it, there's a plethora of tools. Long click on the icon. One of these up here will be showing up and you get the lasso tool, right? So let's just come and we'll just draw right around this chair. And then I'm going to choose this generative fill right here and let Photoshop try to predict what it thinks I could do. I could still use the remove tool and it'll probably work fine. I'm just trying to change it up a little bit and show you a different option maybe that might work better for your image. Now, if you don't see your toolbar down there, you can right click on the image and choose generative fill, right? And it will do the same thing. There's probably like a view up here somewhere that will show the toolbar. I can't remember. Maybe I'll put a note down there when I figure it out. All right, the only reason I say that is because I was doing this earlier in an earlier rendition of editing this and my toolbar disappeared for some reason. So it's probably in one of these window areas here, like the toolbar. It's probably in here. But if you see it in there, or throw me a bone down there, I'm almost 90% sure it's probably in the window options here if you don't see it. But that's if you don't see it. If you do, just click this generative fill button, right? Otherwise, right click and then choose generative fill from this menu. But we'll choose the button, right? Just like this. And I'm not going to give it a prompt. It says, what would you like to generate? It usually doesn't work very well when you say remove the chair. Just hit generate and just see what it gives you. And it'll give you 3 different results. And those variations will be over here. You can see it's building them using AI, right? Again, we use no prompt. So let's see what happens. Okay, see, perfection. Like, I don't even have to look at these other options. We can. Maybe that one's a little cleaner. You know, there's that one. And I actually like this second one. It's a little cleaner than the first one. Made the wall look a little dirtier. It's hard to tell, but I like that one. So we've got our background now. You notice we're not on our background copy anymore. It's created a generative fill layer. So at that point, if we're happy with the way things look, we can collapse, everything down. And so right click on your background, and this, what I'm going to do is collapse all the images down. If we're happy with everything, we can right click and we can choose flatten image, and that just flattens everything down. We're good with those changes. And there's one more thing I might want to do. The reason I did that is I'll do Control Z, which is undo, right? Or you can choose edit undo from the menu. This, if I try to start working, doing some of the removes and everything, it's going to give me an error because for you noobs, we can't really work on this layer because you see there's no image in there. So there's no, I don't know, for lack of a better way to explain it, this image has the picture in it and it has pixels. So anything that I do there, it knows what I'm doing. This is actually AI. It's a blank layer. There's no pixels to work from like this one. It's just the pixels, this part right here. So I could flatten it down like I did, right click on the layer and choose flatten image. Or I could just, if I want to keep going and I want to save this stuff, Control Shift Option E or Alt E, I think, on Windows. And that's just going to merge all this stuff into a top layer, right? We can call this whatever we want, top layer, whatever we want to call. So that's basically, we're starting off fresh up here, and that helps us save all of our changes if we want to keep everything, right? And it's going to make a larger file too when you save it. So just be aware of that. So I showed you 2 ways to kind of keep going here, right? We cannot work on this generative fill layer. So make sure whether you did the flatten, if you did the flatten, what you want to do now is a Control J, and that will duplicate that background layer again. If you decided to go this route with the Control Shift Option E and just merge everything into a top layer, that's where I'm at now. Okay, so I'll leave it like this. If you're in your new layer and you flattened everything down, make sure you have the new layer selected. Okay, so the only other thing I would do here, probably should have done this first and not shown you all this complicated layer stuff, but go back to the remove tool, this one over here, right? And the blue stuff, kind of distracting. There's a little pink something there too. So remove tool, right and left bracket keys, resize. I'm just going to touch that, gets rid of it, right? So let's get this one right here. I'm going to kind of remove that one there. It's kind of weird. Do another swipe, and I think that's pretty good. And then we'll come over here, we'll get that spot and that spot. Sometimes, oops, get another one there, did what I wanted. Sometimes it's better if you just do little spots at a time instead of trying to do the whole thing. So let's come in here, and I'm just going to do that right there. It's okay if I overlap. It wasn't perfect, so I want it to not be too obvious that, see, it's not a remove tool. It's almost like a fill tool as well, right? It's doing some weirdism. And so if it gives me that, I'm getting kind of stuck. Control Z, let me start over. Control Z again, or edit undo. That looks okay, but I'd want to poke this in a little bit. It looks a little weird. So let me come back and let me just get the outside right there, right? Let me get that spot. Sometimes it's better if you just do, a little bit at a time, and then maybe we zoom in, use our right and left bracket key, right? We come in here finesse it a little bit, right? And it's still doing, there we go. See, it created a little solid line there. Maybe we get this. Let's see what this does there. Okay. So sometimes you got to finesse it, but it's still not very hard, right? And there we go. Now, what I love about this image, we've got it all cleaned up. I've got her now framed up in here, right, like I want to. Control 0 again, recenters the canvas. I'm going to click on this top layer. What I'm going to do is group all these edits together, okay? Top layer, and then down to this BG copy. And then I'm going to right click. So what I did was I hit the top layer, I held down Shift, the Shift key, and then the BG copy, right? So it selects all 3 layers, and then right click, and let's choose group. That's what I want to do, group from layers. Was that it? Yeah, okay. Or you could hit Control G. And so this is, we'll call this group edits. And all it's done is just, it's got all the edits inside this little folder here now. So I haven't changed anything really. Now, if you flattened down earlier, you're fine. You don't really need to do anything. But the only reason I'm doing this is I want to show you the before and the after. So I have all my edits rolled up into this right here, and I can hit the eyeball, and there's my original, right, where I started, and there is where I finished, removing distractions. Again, why did I do all that? Well, if you come in here, you've got this plug and the toilet paper, and you're looking at the image. I want you to look at her. I don't want your eye to wander and look at anything else in the room. These little things in the corner takes your eye off of her. The toilet paper or the plug, you might be kind of wandering around, or this bottle back here. I want you to go to the image, and as much as possible, just look at her inside the frame, and that's all I really want you to be looking at, okay? So hopefully this helped you out. Give it a like, give me a subscribe if you want to see more. Leave a comment if you have any other requests that you would like me to do. Comment that below as well. You guys have a great day, and I hope you enjoyed the video. Thanks.